All right, let's dive in. Right now, as you're watching this, you are probably connected to a wireless network. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that invisible shield that's supposed to protect your connection, and more importantly, what happens when that shield shatters. I mean, just think about it. From the coffee shop to your own living room, wireless tech is kind of like this invisible magic that ties all our gadgets together. It's so fast, so convenient. Honestly, we don't even think about it anymore, right? It just works. No more cables, just an instant connection to everything. But, and this is the big question, with all of our information just flying through the open air, while you're connected to your world, could someone else be listening in? That's exactly what we're going to unpack right now. So, first things first, you really go to think of Wi-Fi as a double-edged sword. Yeah, on one side, you've got this incredible convenience that we all know and love. But on the other side, well, that's where the serious risks come into play. And this really breaks it down, doesn't it? On the left, that's the world we live in. Fast, easy, no fuss. But check out the right side. That's the trade-off. Because Wi-Fi signals are just broadcast out there into the air, anyone who's close enough can potentially grab them. It leaves our data exposed in a way that a physical cable just doesn't. So, to fight this problem, a sort of digital arms race kicked off. For every new defense the good guys built, the hackers would find a new way to break it. Let's take a quick look at how this whole battle has evolved over the years. Okay, so it all started back in the day with WEP. The big problem with WEP, it used a single, static password that never changed, which, well, turned out to be pretty easy to crack. So WPA came along as an answer to that. Its big innovation was using dynamic keys that were always changing, which made it a much, much harder target. And that brings us to today, with WPA2 and WPA3. These use something called AES encryption, and get this, that's the same gold standard encryption that governments use for classified information. Each step forward was basically a fix for the last one's failures. But here's the thing. Even with all that fancy protection, attackers still have their own bag of tricks. So let's jump into our next section and look at 4 of the most common ways they try to get around our wireless security. So we're going to peek inside the hacker's toolbox, and we'll break down these 4 big ones: packet sniffing, rogue access points, good old password theft, and of course the infamous man-in-the-middle attack. Understanding how they work is really the first step to keeping yourself safe. First up, packet sniffing. The best way to think about this is literally digital eavesdropping. So your data doesn't travel as one big file. It's broken up into these tiny little pieces called packets. A packet sniffer is just a tool that listens in on the network and grabs those packets right out of the air. And this is where it gets scary. If your connection isn't encrypted, say you're on a website using the old HTTP instead of the secure HTTPS, those packets are basically flying naked. Anyone sniffing the network can read them just as easily as reading a postcard somebody dropped in the mail. No privacy whatsoever. Okay, next we have the rogue access point. And this one is so sneaky because it's so simple. All an attacker has to do is plug their own little Wi-Fi router into a network that you trust. It instantly creates a secret backdoor that completely bypasses all the official security that's in place. And here's exactly how they get you. You pull out your phone, right? You see 2 networks. One is the official, secure, my_office_Wi-Fi. But look, right below it is one called my_office_Wi-Fi free. It looks real, and hey, who doesn't love free Wi-Fi? But the moment you connect to that fake one, you're sending all of your data straight through the attacker's laptop. The lesson here is simple. Always, always be sure you know what network you're joining. And that leads us right into our next big threat, straightforward password theft. This is a huge risk on public Wi-Fi, at airports, cafes, hotels, places where you have no idea who else might be on that same network with you. Look how easy this is. It's just a 3-step trap. First, you hop on that public Wi-Fi. Second, you go to a website that isn't secure. And if you take away one thing, it's this. Always, always look for that little padlock icon in your browser and make sure the web address starts with HTTPS. If that S for secure is missing, any password you type is sent in plain text and an attacker can just pluck it right out of the air. It is that simple. All right, and for our final attack, we have the big one, the man-in-the-middle attack. This is one of the scariest because the attacker manages to secretly wedge themselves right into the middle of your conversation online, and you're completely in the dark. They see everything, they hear everything, and you have no idea they're even there. I mean, this picture says it all, right? You think you're talking directly to your bank's website. You're not. You're talking through the attacker, who's then talking to your bank. They are literally the man in the middle, and they can not only read but even change the information going back and forth. So, after all that, what's the big takeaway? Well, it's that the air all around us, our digital airspace, isn't always as safe as we think. The convenience we absolutely love comes with a pretty sobering reality. There's a line from the research that just hits the nail on the head. It says attackers can get away with all of this while users believe the connection is direct and safe. Every single time you connect, you're making a bet that your connection is secure. And as we've just seen, there are a lot of ways for that bet to go bad. So I'll just leave you with this one last thought. The next time you go to connect to a Wi-Fi network, just pause for a second and ask yourself, do I really trust this? And what could be hiding completely unseen in my airspace? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.